Talks aimed at reaching a new truce in the fighting in Gaza continue in Cairo today. Palestinian groups rejected the idea of releasing more hostages until Israel ends its siege of Gaza. But Israel has vowed to keep fighting until Hamas is destroyed. Meanwhile, the militant group fired a fresh barrage of rockets at Israel from Gaza today. Air raid sirens sent Israelis scrambling to bomb shelters in Tel Aviv and several other towns and cities across the country. Video shows Israel's Iron Dome air defense intercepting the incoming rockets. According to police in Tel Aviv, there are no injuries or damage. In Gaza, the situation remains dire. A new water project built by the United Arab Emirates is bringing clean drinking water to some residents. 3 plants on the Egyptian side of the border are pumping water through pipes into Rafah. But Gaza's ruined infrastructure makes it nearly impossible to share it widely. A new United Nations report says more than 500,000 people in Gaza are going hungry because of a food shortage. Diplomats at the UN headquarters in New York are still working on a Security Council resolution. It calls for a pause in the fighting. The vote was supposed to happen on Monday, but has been put off 3 times. The United States is opposed to a ceasefire and has already used its Security Council veto to block previous resolutions. Journalist Iris Mackler is watching the latest developments from Jerusalem. She joins us now live. Iris, let's start with the talks happening in Cairo. Where do things stand now?
I think I haven't got good news to report there. It looks like things have stalled. We know that going in, Israel said it wanted, at the very least, to bring out its vulnerable hostages. So a humanitarian pause in return for the most vulnerable, that's the old, the sick, the wounded, and the remaining women and children, about 40 in all. What we've heard from Hamas since is they've gone back to their original position, which is no thanks, we don't want a humanitarian pause, we want the conflict to end, full stop. And then we'll discuss any hostage deals or whatever has to come next. So at the moment, that looks like, things are done for the moment. However, Diane, I have to say, there's the British Foreign Secretary, the new old British Foreign Secretary, David Cameron's in the region, the French president's in the region too. Diplomacy is still trying to make an effort, despite the fact that we can see just, from the rocket fire into Israel, there was 36 hours or so when there were no rockets from Gaza into Israel. That ended today as the talk started to look less certain, and there was that barrage of rockets that we saw at the beginning of the program coming into Tel Aviv and central Israel. So I'd say that's a sign that at the moment we're back to square one.
The World Health Organization gave an update on the worsening humanitarian situation inside Gaza. In particular, there was news on the state of hospitals. What are the details on that?
Yes, we've heard from the World Health Organization confirming what organizations on the ground have been saying for the past 24 to 48 hours, which is basically that there is no functional hospitals left in the north of the Gaza Strip. There are also fewer civilians now, as we know, because so many of them were displaced to the south, but there still are people who are there. And now there's not really a hospital that can do surgery to treat them. And they're saying that that is the situation. The last one left was the Al Ahli Hospital, and it is now shutting its doors in effect to any new patients. So if you are a civilian left in the north of the Gaza Strip and you are in need of healthcare, you will have to wait for a humanitarian pause to be able to go south to get it. That's the situation. And when you couple that with the fact that the World Food Programme is now saying that there really is hunger starting in the Gaza Strip. In fact, one of the World Food Programme officials said he'd never seen anything spiral out of control this quickly. So yes, there's hunger. No, there's no more hospitals functioning in the north of the Gaza Strip. And I think that's why we're seeing this huge push towards a ceasefire, despite the fact that the ceasefire talks at the moment between Israel and Hamas, even for just a pause, don't seem to be going anywhere.
All right. Thank you so much, Iris.